Hi everybody, I'm Solomon, the Arkansas Diamond Miner. I was going to make a quick video for you guys. I've been promising to go through some of this gravel from my previous videos and show you guys what I find. First thing I got to do is dry it. If you look at some of the statistics for how many diamonds are found and how they are found down at the Crater of Diamonds, you'll see that a lot of them are found by wet sifting. Now they don't often find them at the park when they're wet sifting. A lot of times they'll flip their Saruca and they'll have a center. And sometimes they'll see a diamond right there in that center just when they flip it. More often though, the regular guys that know how to do it, or the people that have learned to go out and learned how to do it and went down there, they'll take and harvest that center out and they'll put it in a 5-gallon bucket. Now I've got a bucket right here. This isn't from my last 2 trips that I made videos on. This is one earlier in the year prior to that. And I've got lots of buckets of this stuff. I've probably got 10 or 15 buckets of centers that are partially full that I've just brought back and not had the chance to go through them. Today I'm kind of out here on my home place out here in the middle of the woods in Booger County. Going to go ahead and set some of this gravel up to dry, and I'll show you how to do it. What I normally do is I'll use my screens, and I've got my Sarucas here. These are the Sarucas I had in the video. They're Muddy Miner Sarucas, and they've got a 16 mesh and an 8 mesh. So this actually makes it really kind of easy to dry this stuff, because when I work this gravel using 16 mesh screens, I'm not worried about anything that's going to get through that. So what I can do is just use that as kind of a way to dry it. Air can kind of get in amongst that gravel. So what I'll do, let me grab this bucket here. All right, so here's my bucket. I've actually got a couple of them here, went and got another one. And this is gravel that's been just washed and pulled my centers out of it with when I Saruca'd. Got a couple little agates in there that I threw in to keep. So now it's going to let the water run out of it. You know, when you sit there and you wash, you're trying to hurry through some of that stuff and you're scooping them centers out. There's still a lot of moisture, so as you're going through and you're throwing those in the bucket, you're still going to have some water that kind of bleeds down out of that stuff and into the bucket. So, and this one sat out in the rain. The idea here is, as this stuff starts to dry out and the water runs out of it, that 8 will let some of that smaller gravel go through into the bottom, and I'm pretty sure it's already letting some of it through there. Yeah. And as this dries, anything, you know, this is 1/4 inch, this has been through the 1/4 inch top screen. As this dries, some of that smaller stuff can go through the 1/8. Larger stuff will stay behind on the top, in the top Saruca, and that lets me cut it by size. You always want to cut your gravel by 1/8 if you can when you go through it, because some of them smaller diamonds are real easy to miss if they're mixed in with bigger stones. So I'm gonna let this sit out here and kind of let the water run out of it. Let it kind of start drying. It's gonna be able to get some water through it, and I'll probably do the same thing with these screens over here. I'll dump a bucket in there and let it start drying out. Shouldn't take too long. I may prop this bottom Saruca up on something, just so that it gets it up off of that and lets the air circulate through it too. I'll check in. This is right here in bright sunshine. It shouldn't take too long. There's pretty good wind blowing. Y'all can probably hear it. Shouldn't take too long. I'll check back here with you in just a few minutes once it starts drying out a little bit. All right, I got another bucket in there. I think I'm gonna have to wash. That one right there has got a lot of mud in it. Probably going to have to wash that one. This one right here. Spread that around real good, and as it dries, it's going to go through that 8. And then anything that's between 1/8 and 1/4 stays in the top, just like when you're wet sifting. Anything smaller goes down in the bottom, and then it's already cut by size for me. You see this one right here drying up pretty good there. That one was just literally sitting in water. It was completely saturated, so it might take a little while. Just kind of keep spreading it around. Yeah, we'll give it another half hour. All right, so these have been sitting out here. Sun's getting a little bit lower, so it's getting kind of cooler, so had to warm up just a little bit with a vest. Anyhow, so this one This one's getting pretty good and dry. I'm just kind of working it around a little bit, and that's letting, you know, once it dries, you know, it's not as sticky, so all that smaller stuff is going to fall through the 1/8 mesh into that bottom screen, like I was telling you. I really don't see a whole lot of small stuff still in here. I'll bring you in close here just a little bit. All right, so you can see all that's kind of the coarser gravel. Not a lot of small stuff in there. So all that smaller, anything smaller than 1/8 inch, it just kind of fell through into that bottom. You can see that, and it's already looking real good and dry. So that'll dry a little bit more. I'm going to keep that right up there. All right, so I've got a sorting tray, and what I'll probably do is I will put these into buckets according to size as they dry. So I'll have one bucket that is nothing but stuff that's larger than 1/8 inch out of this top, or this piece right here. I'll go through it. It's usually pretty quick to go through. The smaller stuff does take a little bit longer to dry, does take a little bit longer to go through, and realistically, the average size of a diamond is 20 points roughly, which will go through an 8 mesh typically if it's shaped right. So if you think about that, most of the diamonds you're going to find will pass through that 1/8 into that bottom screen. So like I said, I'll get this gone through here pretty quick, and then that stuff that's in the bottom screen, that's what's going to probably take the longest. So I'll get my sorting tray real quick, dump it over. I'll show you kind of how I do it. All right, so I've taken that 1/8 and greater, put it in my little sorting tray, and all I want to do is just kind of slowly go through this. I just kind of roll it with my fingers. Just kind of rolling it around, make sure I'm in some good light. I mean, you can do this in the house. For me, I like spending a lot of time outside, so unfortunately I don't spend a lot of time sitting still. So I can go through this. I'll probably just put a bucket right here, and you know, I'm confident that there's nothing in that, so I can just kind of shove it out that corner as I go. Now you can use just about anything to go through gravel. You know, I had a big tub lid. I used to use it. I'd actually dump it, dry it on that over the course of several days with a fan on it. Some people will take and put it on a tray, like a cookie sheet, or one of those pizza cooking pans that's real just wide and flat. And they'll actually bake it in the oven. You know, get it pretty hot. Moisture's going to want to leave it easier. If you do that, you do need to be careful. Like calcite really likes to pop when it gets hot, and then that you take it out of the oven and it cools off real quick, it will shatter. And there's probably other rocks that'll do that too. But for me, I like this wooden sorting tray. I actually made early on in my YouTube video, or my YouTube channel, I actually made this sorting tray. I made a video on making this thing, and the reason I like this having this big sturdy tray to go through is because I actually have a clamp light. In the summertime, if I'm up later in the evening and I'm outside, I can actually run an extension cord and I can actually clamp that big clamp light right to this, and it hangs over. I think you guys, I don't know if I've got a link to it in my video in my description, but that thing will clamp onto the side, and I can hang it over, and I can sit outside on my front porch or wherever I'm at, and I've got a good light that I can just sit there, and it's kind of relaxing just to sit and go through this stuff. So I can put that clamp light, it's got a magnifier in the middle of it. yeah, I mean, makes it real nice, makes it easy to go through this, kind of spend some downtime and kind of get this stuff done. So yeah, I'll keep on going through this, and then I'll get into that smaller stuff. If I find anything, I'll let y'all know. All right, so I've got that larger gravel gone through now. Didn't find anything in it. This smaller stuff, this is smaller than 1/8. That's in this bottom screen right here. You can see this is all pretty well dry. Might still have just a little bit of moisture, but not enough to bother anything. So that's kind of sandy and be easy to go through now. So I'm just going to dump that in here. Just like that. All right, so you can see this is a lot smaller, so I'm going to go through it a lot slower. The main thing that I want to do is just spread it out good and thin, make sure I can see all the stones, get a little bit more sunlight on it. And you know, like I said, if I'm doing this inside at night, I can get I've got a little clamp light that I can put on there. Makes it real easy to see, but I mean, there's sparkling stuff all in here. There's something right there. That's actually sparkling a lot more than everything else. I don't know. Whoops. Oh, let's see, is that quartz or, well, where did it go? Actually had a real good sparkle to it. I think that's it right there. It actually has a good metallic. That might be one. If it is, it's really crunched up. I think I'm gonna put that one aside. That's a maybe, right? It's definitely slippery. And that's one of the indications that it's a diamond, or that it could be a diamond, is that it's super slippery. But that actually looks like it might be one. Just a little crunchy little white one. I'm gonna take and put that. I've got a bottle. Yeah, here it is. Always keep some kind of a bottle with me. Yeah, whatever that is, I can't tell if that's a diamond or not. If it is, it doesn't have any of the original faces, but it's definitely slippery. But I mean, it's that easy. You know, I tell people finding the diamonds down there really isn't that hard. You just got to know what to do to get them and know how they look to find them. So I'm going to finish. I don't know if I'm going to finish this tonight. I'm going to keep going through it a little bit until it gets dark. As slow as I go through this finer stuff, pretty slim chance I'll get through, you know, I don't even think I'll get through half of this tonight. I'll probably just take my sorting tray inside. I still have some other gravel over here still drying, so like I said, I'll keep working on it. If I find anything else while I'm out here, I'll get you guys back on here and take a look. All right, guys, sun's just about down. I've not got enough light that I feel comfortable going through this, so I'm probably just going to go ahead and put this in a bucket, take my sorting tray back inside, and I'll just have to get back to it next time I'm out. Thanks you guys for watching. I'll let you guys know in a community post if this was for sure a diamond. I've got a little diamond tester at the house. Sometimes those are accurate. If it goes off, then I'll definitely go have it tested. So thanks for watching.